going to, for the guys that played years ago and still want to kind of be associated with the game. So we're like, okay, well, let's do a podcast on baseball Scotland. And, you know, we know that like our audience is maybe 100 people. So there's a very niche audience of people interested.
On a really good week.
Well,
on a really good week, it's about 100.
I remember I used to shoot nightlife photography.
Right.
And there was this DJ, and he's complaining about people not coming to his stuff. And I was like, well, it's just consistency, you know? And I talked about this other DJ, and I said, he does it once a month, and his people always comes out. And he started making fun of him. He's like, oh, he's got like 4 people that come out. I'm like, well, those are his 4 people.
Yep.
Yeah, if one person's listening, you have an audience.
It's more than you have.
But I mean, really, that's it. I mean, you kind of go,
yeah.
You know what? We know what our audience is. We know that, you know, no one's going to go like, oh, these 2 dudes are talking about baseball in Scotland and all of a sudden we're going to have 100,000 followers. Like, we know what our audience is and we have fun with it. I mean, we've all known the guys. I mean, I played baseball here for 17 years. So, you know, I know the guys from when I started there. And it's a nice little link for, you know, the new players to find out about the old guys and how we used to travel 5 hours each way to play a doubleheader. And, you know, you'd be up at 6 o'clock in the morning and get home at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And you just went to work the next day. And that, you know, that was fun. Now it's only about a 3-hour drive. These guys moan about driving that much for that one game.
Oh, man.
Excuse me. John's just sharing it all on social media right now.
Yeah.
I think
I'm almost done.
Tad's watching the show.
Oh, yeah. Is there a link I can put out?
Yeah, we should do it. So it's live on Facebook, and then we'll try to get the YouTube video up within a day or 2. And then John is going to rip out the audio and put it in the podcast form as well, so we can cover all the bases here.
Okay. What's the Facebook?
All caps and bagpipes.
All caps and
Yes.
bagpipes. Just all one word.
It's a great name.
Well, yeah, it was. I came up with it. And I was just like, we got to do something that says it's baseball in Scotland. And I was like, yeah, ball caps and bagpipes, and it just really had to work.
Yeah, the ball cap side of it comes from your Instagram, doesn't it? The caps blog.
Yeah, it was. So I own like 100 baseball caps, and so I was just, I needed to do something with them. So I just did a kind of daily pick of my whatever hat I was wearing that day. So that kind of came from there. So, and then yeah.
You're known around these parts as the really weird guy who walks around Edinburgh taking pictures of random landscapes with you wearing random baseball.
There's enough American tourists that come through there. I have to work.
It's funny.
Yeah, he's got a lovely picture of himself from back in high school behind him. I don't know if you clocked that. Talk about being
we'll get it out.
Talk about a guy in love with his own ego.
There we go. So this is my high school senior portrait photo, one of them. So
Nice.
So it used to hang up in the living room, and there's a story behind it. And but I was just like, I didn't know what else to do with it. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put it back up here in the corner and see if John notices. You took the whole show.
I mean, yeah, I saw it earlier on in the interview, but I was just like, I don't remember that being there. But then it was toward the end, I was like, wait, who is that? Is that him? And then I thought, no, maybe it's Pete. I thought maybe it would be Pete Sack, because obviously you guys went to high school together. And I just figured that possibly like you had put that there as a kind of nod to him and like a joke. But yeah, we are good to go. I've finally got all this shared and stuff like that, so we are good to get started. So
can I pick your brain real quick?
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, go for it.
So I was fooling with the microphone before I got on here, and I got rid of the delay. But when I got on Zoom, it's giving me the delay again. Is there a setting on Zoom?
Oh gosh, I haven't had that problem
good
yet.
question.
I normally get that when we watch on Facebook, so I can't actually watch the live feed there because it's like a 10-second delay, and that throws me off a bit.
Yeah.
But
yeah. It's fine. I can listen to myself, I guess. Like I'm not a fan of my own voice, but that's all right.
If you look in the audio settings, you can change it there. But again, like we're fairly new to Zoom. Like we've been using it for about a week. It was just kind of like, well, we're going to do these somehow. What's the best way to do it? Oh, Zoom goes to Facebook. Okay, great. We'll use Zoom.
All right. Well, I want to share it on so I got a fair amount of Facebook people.
Yeah, so I think John, go ahead and share it live. It's no big deal. We're in no hurry at all. You're the last person for tonight. And so, I mean, if you want to share it on your Facebook, feel free. And then
we just have like 5-10 minutes of audio to record after this, and then that's done for the night. And then I think we've just got the one tomorrow, haven't we?
Yes, yeah, we have Josh Trout tomorrow, if I'm correct. And then I'm hitting everybody.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I know. One tomorrow so far, and then I'm going to hustle to see who we can find that might want to join us. And
so how many from the group have you interviewed?
Oh gosh, 10.
About 10
cool.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, let's see. I have it up here.
That's awesome.
Gosh, it looks at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12. We've done 12 so far.
Okay. Thanks for poking at me, because I saw the sign up in the email and I just spaced on it. So.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where everyone's busy. Everyone's going, I've got to get my work done. And then we'll touch on this when we talk to you later about it. Like most people, like the art's their side gig, something they're doing for fun. John Scherzer, he's a comedian. And so what's that? Sheezer, yeah. So he's a comedian, and so he
we both butchered his name so badly.
Yes, Sheezer. And so he's like, oh man, like I was like, when's good for you? And he's just like, now. I was like, crap. Okay, I was like, John, we got to do some research here. So I mean, luckily I was very familiar with his work because I've been following him for about 2 years now. So it was a very easy conversation, but it was just like, he's like, yeah, same thing. Saw the sign up sheet. Not got around to it because I'm trying to finish everything with the free time I have, and so I'm gonna poke everyone tomorrow and see if anyone else wants to get on there. Because I think we're gonna try to do at least 2 a night for the rest of the way out, and then if people want to do a third one, we'll do a 6:30 show as well too, and really just not sleep for a bit.
Hey man, I appreciate your hustle.
It's fun.
Well,
for us, it's a lot of fun. Like I'm loving this. Like I can just get a big buzz from this, and then I go and I tell everyone about it, and they're like, yeah. So shut up about your show. And I'm like, oh, come on, man, this is fun for us.
Yeah, I get that reaction when
it's a huge project.
Putting my podcast together, and it's like, oh, okay. Like, who's gonna watch that? Like, somebody will. I have at least one viewer.
So we'll ask you about it now. So what is the podcast about?
It's called Artist Bebop.
Right. Okay.
You were talking about people being full-time or part-time. I'm full-time artist, and so it's me talking to everyone I've met in my career.
Right. Okay. Cool.
And so on. New people are welcome, but that's where I'm starting. So.
Nice.
Yeah. You'll have to hit us up, man, and let us know when that gets put together and finalised, and you get your first stuff out, and we'll definitely have one to listen and two share it about.
I'm going to release the first episode, and I obviously have a lot of work to do. Yeah, I guess it's like, man, this sounds like ass, but we're gonna put it out. We recorded it.
It's really funny because we started this and we used to just do the podcast. And and because I tell everyone this, I'm broadcasting from a 160-year-old toilet. So in Edinburgh, our flat's 160 years old, and we have the basement flat, and you go down the stairs, and there's cellars on the other side. And so when I converted the cellars into an office storage space, there's a hole in the ground, and the guy's like, "Do you know what that's for?" I go, "I don't know, drainage, it's storage." What is this? No, that would have been the servant's toilet back in the day. So. So we're broadcasting. So you can imagine I've got like 2-foot concrete walls one side, and then 2 feet walls there. So the Wi-Fi is ugly rubbish. And so we got so frustrated with recording video, the podcast over and over again because my Wi-Fi would go down, or I'd just go out for 5 minutes and then back there. So like, you know what? Let's do this as a live stream. And it's just been much easier that way because it's much less work, and then we can go and edit it later and just, you know, add a couple things here and there, and you don't have to worry about it as much.
Yeah.
So let's get started properly. It's 11 p.m. here now, so let's get on with the proper interview and get right into things. So guys, thank you for joining us again. I'm John McKellar of the Glasgow Comets from the Baseball Scotland National League. I am one half of Ball Caps and Bagpipes, and there's the other half right there.
And the other half is the lovely 18-year-old Jason. And I'm Jason Durr. I'm Baseball Scotland Hall of Famer, and I'm also the owner of Dugout Classics.
And we're joined for our second interview tonight, which I didn't know was happening. Jason, until about 10 minutes ago. Tonight's second interview is the talented Sergio Santos. Why don't you say hello, Sergio?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Thank you so much for joining us, man. Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you. Now, I like to open up with the same question for our guests, and that would be, what's your baseball background? Did you grow up playing the game? If so, to what level and what positions did you play? And what club did you follow as a youngster?
Baseball cards are probably where it started for me. Like, I'm admiring Jason's wall.
Yeah, move out of the way. You can see it. Yeah.
As a kid,
you need to show him is it Steve Lake?
Oh, yeah. So we open up a pack of cards because I do that with my Instagram as I do my Wax Pack Wednesday, and with Tad and Travis, we were talking about the 91 studio and the really cheesy 90s portraits that's there.
Oh man, I love those. Yeah.
And it was like, we're lucky, we'll pull this Steve Lake card. And so everyone's like, yes, you have the Steve Lake card. And so
that was an awesome, but yeah, that's where my fandom started.
Right.
I had an interest in photography from early on, and then I got really geeky about these cards in grade school.
Right.
And then I played the game a little bit, like Little League, but a Cubs fan. That's where I was born, Chicago. And yeah, and it's funny because art-wise, I had a friend who would, this was years ago, he would remix baseball cards and paint them. And we kind of showed in the same circles. And I didn't touch baseball because I felt like people would be like, oh, you're biting his style. And it wasn't till, I guess, you know, COVID happens, and being a full-time artist, I'm very panicked for a few minutes. So it's like, what am I going to do? And then I realized that I've been an artist all my life, and this is what we do, is we figure out how to make money against impossible odds. And but part of it for me was I had this new studio time, and I remembered being a kid and loving baseball cards and baseball biographies, baseball history. And I started to make my own images, and then I started to post them. I separated it from my bigger body of work, and I started to meet cool people like you guys that appreciate the game and the history, and man, it's been cool. And that's how we ended up in this benefit for the museum. So
great stuff.
So,
now, do you have any?
That's my short answer.
Do you have any favorite memories growing up watching the Cubbies, other than, of course, the 2016 World Series and ending that course?
Just going to games with my dad. Of course, we moved from Chicago when I was little, but we'd go back in the summers and catch games. Wrigley Field, nothing like that for me at least. Those fans they're fans.
Fans in the traditional sense, the word in media.
What? I didn't catch it. I think he froze.
John, you guys speak up. John, you gotta speak up there. We
Oh,
lost you.
sorry. Okay. Growing up, then you played the game until what level?
Oh, I played in 6th grade, and I just wasn't very good.
It seems to be a running theme with everyone that's spoken to, with a couple of exceptions. That it's a case of I was okay, but maybe not great. But I happen to be like a savant-like artist, and have been able to. You guys have been able to contribute to the game on such a different level. It's been amazing for me the last week, especially speaking to all you guys, and seeing a new dimension to the game, and getting and hearing stories from guys like yourself who've lived it growing up. Obviously I'm in Scotland. I kind of ran into baseball by accident 20 years ago, and have never really had a conversation with anyone that I know about. Did you watch the game last night? I've never had that luxury, so it's been great for me to vicariously be able to go back in time and live through that with you guys. So it's very great for me. I'll let Jason take over, and you guys can talk about the art side of things, and then we'll come back to me at the end.
Yeah.
Right,
Well,
no
I love that what you just said about because within my friend circle, none of them are baseball guys or gals, and so having this time to start this series and then connect so quickly, because it's been a matter of months with so many people that share the same enthusiasm. It's cool, and I hope to see more of it.
I think we will. There's been really, so I hate to keep references, and like every interview I've almost talked about it, but the Tops Project 2020, have you seen those?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of, it's been building, because again, I've been looking at kind of like, since I run a jersey shop, I was like, okay, I'm the European guy, and I know these brands I can bring over here. And then I started seeing all these artwork that come along, and it's been about a year, 2 years I've been kind of doing it, and you've really seen it all just kind of take off the last kind of 6 months because of COVID, and people are like, hey, you know what, I got this time at home, I can't go out, and I'm throwing my passion I've been doing kind of as a side gig really into it, and you're seeing people just pop up, and some of the work you're seeing now is absolutely amazing. People just come out of the woods and go like, oh, I've been doing this for like years, and I was just like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. For me, it was I just wanted to be that kid again, because the world got heavy really quickly, and then it continued to be heavy, and painting these guys and just enjoying that is a nice outlet.
So you said you were a full-time artist. What is your main work then? We'll talk about the baseball work in a bit, but what do you normally do for your work?
When I go into the studio, it's whatever mood I get in. And so
right, yeah.
It could be, I have several like Instagrams. The one you guys know me by is El Santos Baseball. But I have El Santos Wrestling. That's about wrestlers.
John's a big wrestling fan, so.
Okay, yeah. You should check it out. That's its own.
El Santos Wrestling. I'll get on that, man.
It's wrestling. Like it's said here in the South.
Awesome.
WRAS.
It's good old fashioned. Yeah, good old fashioned wrestling.
So I didn't know about the wrestling account. So do you focus on like? I'm a big fan of like, the 80s. Like that was my jam. Was like Hulk Hogan and obviously the Giant. So as soon as we get done here, I'll be following that account to see what you're gonna put up there. But those are the modern guys. I'm all old school WrestleMania kind of thing.
Jason, have you ever heard the song? Have you ever heard the song That's Wrestling?
No. There's a song?
RASSLIN, that's wrestling. There is a song, yes. You need to look it up on YouTube.
No, you keep singing this thing.
RASSLIN, that's wrestling.
Okay, I'm gonna find this song. You're gonna play it for me and sing it for me.
Absolutely.
It's kind of the same thing with that series. You grew up watching wrestling, and to me, it was just. It's always about like the folklore of the individuals, like making a satchel page. So in wrestling, it's whoever. I mean, I don't watch the current product as much, but I read a lot of the biographies. I think wrestler lives are fascinating. But yeah, if you look through the account, it's very random who I paint. I did do you remember the Moondogs? Moondog Spot, Moondog Rex. I especially I like it when people are like auxiliary wrestlers.
Yeah.
Enhancement talent.
Yeah. Strange thing because people remember that. So I find like people will like the most random baseball player, and they'll go, "Oh, my favorite guy is like the 24th man on the bench, who's like the third backup catcher, and that's my guy." You know, and so when he's in the game, I'm excited. Whoever was it Tim Wakefield's personal catcher? Like that's my guy. You know, I'm just like,
there you go.
Once every 5 days. You know,
it makes me think back to our very first interview with Robbie Aronson. He was talking about how his guy growing up was Gary DiSarcina.
Yes.
Not a superstar by anyone's measure, but just a guy who hustled and he just had a connection to because he was a local guy.
Yeah, Kevin Bass. Probably don't know that name, but he had this fantastic mustache.
It's amazing how that's the first thing that we remember about players from like the 80s or the early 90s. That moustache and the mullet. Oof.
So
never mind how good it was on the field.
I think it's the legend of Kevin Bass because he went to Japan, right? He ended his career in Japan.
And that sounds right. Yeah.
And I think they won the Japanese World Series or the equivalent, and because they couldn't, I don't know what they did, but they threw statues in a river, and they couldn't find obviously a black man statue anywhere. So they found the Colonel Sanders outside the KFC, and they threw it into this river. And then ever since they threw it into the river, the team's been cursed. So they had to like go save the Colonel Sanders statue, and they had to drag the thing out and bring it back out because the team had been cursed for like.
Oh, I love that.
That's my random Kevin Bass story. Yeah, it was like completely random, but yeah, I'll have to find that out. But yeah, there was the curse of Colonel Sanders for a long time because they threw the statue in there.
There you go. But yeah, no, it was he was signing autographs at a mall, and I got to go get my autograph, and it was just a big deal for me as a kid. So, but I think that's what's magic about baseball, that people do have like, oh yeah, that's my dude, and even though that might seem weird to somebody else, it's very meaningful to that person.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I mean, you can always have your players that you're kind of go on to. I mean, I was a Mariners fan. It took a long time to develop any kind of personality in the Mariners. So how would you describe your artwork? I was looking through your Instagram. You seem to kind of, I don't know, by choice or just because it's commissions or whatnot, but you kind of dwelt with a lot of 70s and 80s players.
Like I said, to me, the initial draw was the photography.
Right.
I guess that era, I love those photographs. They almost look like records sound.
Right.
That crackling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
That's my appeal to them. And yeah, that is usually me picking them. People, when they commission, it's usually other eras.
Right. Yeah, no, it's you said you go to the studio and you get inspired by anything, and you maybe open up a pack of cards and go, okay, yeah, cool, I remember this guy. Let's do him today.
Yeah. Well, and you have so many to choose from. It's a long history, and especially with the project we're doing now with the Negro Leagues. Like I'm reading more about it, and then getting some of those stories, and it gives more face. Yeah, it's like this is archaeology, really, especially since statistically their records. It's nothing like Major League.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Baseball. But man, it's a fascinating history. Like I didn't realize that the minor league system came from the Negro Leagues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's so many stories about them barnstorming and playing against the white players secretly in small farm towns, and you don't know what to believe because there wasn't written records of what happened, so you had to go by these stories that may have been embellished by time, maybe not. We're never going to know, but how fascinating would it have been to see Satchel Paige pitch against the major leagues there. I think he showed up when he was like 46 and still did pretty well for a few years before he talked out. It's absolutely amazing.
I gotta reread it today. I was reading something, and I want to, don't quote me, but I think it was Satchel Paige.
Mm-hmm.
They said that always carried a gun.
Oh, right. Yeah, quite possibly.
Even when he pitched.
I
gotta go back in the book, because I read that it was early this morning. I was like, man, that's weird. Like, but yeah, it's definitely a rich, colorful history.
Yeah.
So.
Was it Satchel Paige who called his fastball Midnight Rider or something like that?
Oh gosh,
did I read that somewhere?
I think he did. I think Satchel was very good at I'd say promoting himself. That would be the best way to say it.
Absolutely,
doing that, and of course you can back it up as well. So yeah, I mean, I can just see him on the mound going, "I carry a gun out here. Let's see how I'm gonna get the mics today."
Yeah, go ahead and charge the mound.
I think it harks back to what a couple of the guys we've spoken to already have brought up, and that's the flair for entertainment that a lot of the Negro League guys had. They didn't have the resources to compete with the major leagues, so they made up for it by playing just this incredibly entertaining and watchable brand of baseball, and they all kind of amped up their personalities to 11, and it's just so it's like a land of giants, but like no one outside of kind of proper baseball nerds and historians have really had a chance to dive into it properly.
Yeah, I was reading about that too. It heightened my awareness of, like, they were really good marketers. All of the names, that was very deliberate, because it was a show to them in order to keep it going. So, because there's some awesome names that come out of the players. Cool Papa Bell.
Yeah, that's
a great one. And then
it's one of these things now. I think we're running into people kind of going, okay, I've grown up, and now I'm hearing more about this, where as a kid I knew of the Negro Leagues and I knew it existed, and then you kind of had Ken Burns documentary to throw some more light on it, and then you've seen Ken Griffey Jr. go, we should wear 42 for Jackie Robinson, and so we're slowly getting there, and now you can actually kind of go, actually, you know what, I really want to go and learn more information about it, and that information's there, where you said we look at it and say the 80s or 90s, we'd have to get an encyclopedia or a book, and I can't imagine there was a whole lot of books out of it back then.
No, not in my library. I remember it was middle school, I guess. I checked out a book. It was George Foster's biography, and that was really interesting because he talks about growing up and picking cotton, and then
wow, okay,
and that was my first awareness, I think, where there was a Negro League, and then thinking about how surreal that is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not that long ago if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's funny. I became a baseball fan accidentally via the baseball video game All-Star Baseball 2002 on the PS2. My first introduction to the Negro Leagues was from another entry in that very series. In All-Star Baseball 2004, there were like these videos you could unlock by winning games, and it was an interview with Buck O'Neill, and him talking about the Negro Leagues, and that's how I first heard about it. And then I think there was a movie about the life of Satchel Paige quite a while back, and I saw that movie, and that was like pretty much my only exposure to the Negro Leagues until this year. It's been quite eye-opening to hear from the artists that we're speaking to, who a lot of them haven't had that much more exposure to the Negro Leagues than I've had. It's just not something that the conversation has centered around enough. Fortunately, with the 100th year anniversary, there is a bit more of an awareness coming, and obviously Griffey Jr. in the 90s was adamant about wearing number 42 on Jackie Robinson Day, and that whole phenomenon happened from there. But it's just it's amazing hearing all the different stories about how, you know, what level of information on the Negro Leagues each person has ascertained in their life, and the different sources that they've gotten it from, and everyone's kind of come together and converged in this project, and we're all kind of learning from each other. I'm learning so much from you guys talking to you every night. I digress. I wanted to read a comment that Tad Richardson's put up on the live stream. He says, I describe Sergio's art as, quote, fucking rad.
Oh man,
But I think Tad, got your, what you sent him.
You the Harold Reynolds.
Harold Reynolds, wasn't it?
Yeah, that came out pretty rad, actually.
It did. I was quite impressed with that, and I know I saw that, and I was like, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. I have loved his enthusiasm behind this, Tad.
Yeah.
Like I said, like conversing with. I think you guys are my second live conversation with people in our circle for this show, but
right, okay.
I feel very connected, and that's a cool feeling. So
it's really funny you say that, because you're finding everyone's saying the same thing. Is like, I've always done my thing, and people kind of followed me, and I'll see something else there. And I think it's the first time we really seen everyone kind of come together and go, you know what? We all have the same kind of passion, whether it was art or card art or you know, and we're all kind of come together, and it's really cool because everyone's like, I'm a baseball nerd and I like my art, and this is like totally what I'm loving, and seeing everyone else kind of come out of the woodworks and say the same thing is really cool, and kind of connect that way. I mean, I hope this continues year in, year out. So this is so much fun.
Well, for artists, I was talking with like I said, I'm working on a podcast, and part of what we were talking about is that really the art shows, yeah, we go to sell art, but it's a big party for us because we've been working on this stuff, especially here in Bedford where I live. We work on our material, and then we have a show. And I notice, you know, we entertain the audience or whatever, but really it's just we're celebrating that we made a new body of work, because each time it's new work. And that really becomes about community. We're doing that virtually, and it's really cool because the scope of people participating is so broad, and that's pretty exciting. And you can really hone in on the people that are similar in many ways. So.
It's fun. It's been a blast to see everyone's artwork and what they're producing and chat with everyone. And I 100% agree with you. Yeah, I guess we're having a virtual show is what we're really doing. Yeah.
I'm all for it. I want to see it more because what a great thing this is. You know, this is a public dialogue, and it's awareness, and it's art, and how sick is that?
It's really cool. Yeah,
That's
no,
awesome.
it's I kind of became aware of it with have you heard of Jimmy Parker of Beauty of the Game? He's on Instagram there, and he turned me on to a show in North Carolina
Look him up.
2 years ago, and it was baseball cards as art, and it was like I never thought of it that way. I always thought, okay, I got my baseball cards, but you know, somebody each year would have sat down with that card and looked at it and said, oh, here's the layout, here's how we're going to do it here, and here's how we put it all together. And it just made me look at the cards differently that time. And then at the same time, you're seeing everyone do the work now, and it's just like, yeah, totally. Like everyone's doing the same thing, or not the same thing, but kind of taking that idea and running with it. And it's a lot of fun to see.
Yeah.
I would actually like to ask. Sorry, Sergio. I would actually like to ask about your artwork, particularly as it pertains to baseball players. You mentioned earlier that, you know, since the COVID thing hit, you've really started to do this project, and it's been as a means of going back to that time and that place when you were a kid watching baseball. When you pick a player to draw and you start working, in your mind's eye, are you looking to recreate what you're feeling inside in terms of the nostalgia, or are you more prioritizing the personality of the player? And how do you strike how would you say your process is to strike the balance correctly?
My artwork's funny. I was thinking about this because I was finishing a commission yesterday, and I was freaking out about it a little bit. Because when people hire me to do my thing, I'm like, I don't know what you're going to get. I just don't. I go in there and I'm a little bit of a wild animal.
As the best artists often are.
As far as the approach, I never know. Like, I know I'm in a baseball mood, but I don't know what style that's going to be.
Right.
That's what keeps it exciting to me. It's because I could voice it many different ways and like what I do. And thankfully other people like it too. You know? Doesn't always happen, but I've been fortunate. And I don't know if that answered the question at all.
That's absolutely fantastic, Sergio. Thanks, man. I just wanted to pick your brain about that aspect of it, because obviously with the reason that you initially started doing this a few months back, being like that kind of feeling of, it's almost like a safety blanket away from, you know, the ills of the world these days. I mean, it's a really terrifying time to be alive, 2020. We don't know what's around the corner in 5 minutes, never mind a few months down the line. And I get that. I really get that feeling of wanting to, you know, wrap that safety blanket of like childhood memories of the grass, the leather of the baseball glove, spending time with dad at the ballpark, which none of us is able to do because of the, you know, there's no fans allowed. So I just wanted to touch on that. I think you've been fantastic in answering that. Thanks, man.
But when I initially started the series, I was so excited about it because I made like 10 of them. And this was at the very beginning. And some of them were Negro League players because I've always had an interest in the subject. And so in the video I said, it's just nice to go back to a time when having 25 cents for a pack of baseball cards was my biggest concern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I think what I've found is that a lot of other people probably feel that way.
Yeah, that's definitely been a running theme with the interviews that we've done this week, man. Jason, do you have anything else to ask the guest on?
I would say, we obviously you have your artwork in the background, but do you have any other pieces, or are you working on anything particular for the project?
These guys, I haven't posted them up. They're all just going to be on my website. Right. But every night I crank out something different. I've been doing some pastel drawings.
Mm-hmm. I saw those.
Those are cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like how you've filmed it, so you can watch it, everything in work.
Yeah. Well, I thought those would be good promo pieces for what we're doing. And yeah, people are, at least I'm getting a lot of feedback. I'm like, wow, that's cool. I didn't know such a museum existed. And that's really cool. I remember being in Kansas City and I didn't get to go see it. I was just short on time. That's always killed me. So it's very cool to be participating. And cool that you guys are broadcasting it.
Exactly. It's fun for us. Like I said, we don't get to chat baseball with people, so this is definitely like that. And then of course, like, you know, games are on. Well, my Mariner game was on at 9 tonight, so.
Oh wait, you actually got a 9 o'clock start?
Yeah, on Sundays.
Oh my God!
We get the normal time. So.
Yeah, normally you're what, 2 a.m.
Yeah, 3 o'clock in the morning is the normal time.
So I'm a Yankees fan, so we're East Coast, so I'm a wee bit lucky. It's usually about midnight. So my game's usually finishing just as his is starting.
Nice.
So cool. John, do you want to ask your question and then we'll get into some wax?
Yeah, what I like to ask all of our guests to end up, to finish up with is, as an American, as an artist, and more importantly as a baseball fan, what do the Negro Leagues mean to you? And how did you come to be involved in the project? How did Dad reach out to you?
It's an important history. And as I said, I am so happy that we get to help broadcast it and bring awareness to it and reinterpret and just celebrate what is also a weird history that it even existed, but at the same time, finding beauty in that strangeness is a really rich, fulfilling thing. And I'm glad I get to do it with about 100 other artists. So, yeah. Was that all of the question?
Yeah, man.
I tend to ramble, so.
No, it's okay. Like I said, literally, our interview last night was, I think we recorded an hour and a half, and the first hour was a ramble. So it doesn't matter. Like I said, we guys consider it's a beer with a friend, and you got wherever the conversation flows, you just go with it, and that's it. We've kind of covered everything here. So
thank you so much.
No, you're asking how Tad reached out, and like I said, when I started the series, there was a group that did a Battle of the Bay Artists show. It was about the Bay Area baseball, and I've done a few because I love those uniforms. That's a lot of how I pick the art sometimes, just visually. Like I'm feeling that color. Yeah,
all the age uniforms and stuff. Ricky Anderson.
Yeah. Reggie Jackson, I think I did one in hot pink. Looked fire, man.
That sounds awesome.
I don't know how Reggie would feel about it. But then, Tad, I think just reached out. I was like, yeah, I'm in. So here we are.
So we're gonna open up a pack of cards just shortly. Before we do you want to once again plug your social media for anyone listening?
Okay, yeah. El Santos Baseball is where you can catch my baseball stuff. ElSantosWorld.com hosts all of my artwork, but if you're interested in just the baseball, the link is ElSantosBaseball.com, and that'll take you
wrestling.
to
Don't forget the wrestling.
Well, yeah, there's El Santos Wrestling. There's El Santos Star Wars.
All right. Yeah, so you touched Star Wars. So you're about the fourth artist I know that does Star Wars. So at least two of the tops artists were they did Star Wars based ones. I want to see, what was it? Jamie did top Star Wars.
Nice.
So so everyone's kind of got this Star Wars tie to it as well. So
there are a lot of nerds walking
I'm okay. I'll raise my hand. I qualify for that one as well. Yeah.
I happily engage in this behavior. So, but
cool. All right.
Yeah.
So we got some cards. You can choose. I got 6-7 packs to choose from. And you can pick which one you like to open. So I have 87 tops.
Oh, okay. You're going old school. Good.
Going old school. Yeah. 89 Donruss.
Okay.
1990 Score. 91 Stadium Club.
Wow.
Oh, we talked about the studio. Hold on. I got 91 Studio.
You're making my heart happier.
Yeah.
Like
so we got 91 Studio if you want to go the 91 Studio route. You got 92 Donruss. And 93 Studio. That's the colorful ones. It's not quite the arty ones the 91 were. And then I've got Modern. I've got the Big League Baseball, which is a Modern pack. Okay.
All right. I'm torn between 87 Tops and 91 Studio. I think I want to see some of that studio photography.
All right.
You know what was great? The Score one where Canseco's got like his shirt off.
Yeah. That's the 90 Score because I think it's got that one. And it's got the Bo Jackson where he's got the football pads on. Not there, yeah.
That was an awesome photograph. But
that was one of the reasons I bought these. It's just a nostalgia one of opening box after box trying to find that damn card. Of course, you can go buy on eBay for like 50 cents now. It's not worth anything, but
it's not as fun.
So if you can comment on any of the cards there. If you don't know anybody there, luckily with Studio, it's mostly stars, so we know most of the players here. But the first one is Dale Murphy with the Phillies.
Nice.
Oh
wow. I always knew him as a Brave.
Yeah, and he played for the Rockies as well at one point for one season. All right, Mookie Wilson.
Nice. As a Blue Jay. He was a Met, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the Met. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then let's see. Okay.
Great name, Mookie.
Oh, Doug Jones, a great stash.
Nice. Yes,
So
it's important.
he likes to listen to watch auto racing in the off season. That's his big thing.
See, I never got to get
Of course
I
he
never got to
does.
get any of these cards.
Look at him.
I may have to hit up old eBay.
Yeah, you can get a box for like $10. Like they're so cheap.
They're that valuable.
It's so worth it for the cards. Like I just
Why was it so hard for me to score them back then?
I know
You know?
they're expensive too. Everyone was like,
Yes.
they're expensive. Now you just buy a box for $10. You know, shipping will cost more.
Terrible.
You'll have to hit the local card shop to see if they have anything and just go from there.
That's fine.
All right.
Was that all of them?
No,
Okay.
we have more. Yeah, we got
Okay.
Yankee legend Kevin Moss.
Man.
Yeah, exactly.
NAS. Wow.
He was good
I'd
for
forgotten
30
about him.
I've heard the name, but
So he hit like 11 home runs in like 30 games, and everyone thought he was going to be amazing first baseman. And yeah,
He's no
it turns out
point.
he couldn't hit a curveball. So, but I mean, everyone bought his cards. I mean, I probably have about 20 Kevin Moss cards kicking about because they were worth a
I did
lot.
too.
hey, what's wrong with that?
Yeah. It was
I'm
like
a
a whole
first
$2.
baseman. I can't hit a curveball. What's wrong with that?
But it doesn't help if you're a major leaguer, you can't hit a curveball, you know? All right.
Fair.
We got
That's fair.
Tony Pena. That's a good looking card. I'm just kind of just hanging out with it.
Yeah.
That is a cool card, actually. He just looks so relaxed.
So his hobbies and interests are he goes shopping for clothes, he likes salsa music, and he watches the Cosby Show.
It's like they're looking for dates, you know?
It's like one of those really dodgy 80s dating videos.
This was like old school, you know, baseball Tinder or something.
I'm gonna send you a box. I'm gonna get your address off there, and I'm gonna buy you a box, and I want you to open it.
I will film that and yeah.
This will be fun.
I'll come back on and open them.
Yeah, we can know. I'm up for that.
You let me know.
All right. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Okay, I couldn't tell. I think this is Mark Gubasa, but look at that mullet.
Man.
I couldn't. I was checking to see if that was it.
He had some serious mullet.
Yeah.
Well, it evolved. It wasn't always that glorious.
But yeah, I wasn't sure if it was a shadow or a mullet, but yeah, it's actually the mullet. So that's an impressive
something had climbed up his back.
And you would have thought, you know, he was shot. There would have been a hair artist. No, make it curlier, longer, greasier. Make it greasier. Come on.
Okay. Give him another highlight. Let's make that thing glow.
All right. Oh, all right. We got Edgar Martinez. Unfortunately, it's not a very good card of Edgar.
He's not looking
Is that
very
Edgar
happy.
Martinez?
It is Edgar Martinez.
That's not the Edgar Martinez I grew up watching.
I know.
He is not happy
so
to be in
different.
that studio.
Yeah.
Look at him.
No.
Like
It was like, are we done yet? Can we get this over with? Like, no one knows who I am yet. It is 91. Like,
Is this when he still played the fields?
He was still probably on the bench for the Mariners doing them. All right. Here we go. This is a great one. It's not Steve Lake great, but I'll bring to you Sammy Sosa.
Oh, man. Look at that hair.
That hair is amazing.
Wow.
He looks like he has been on the disco dust before that was taken.
That is a gem. See, I remember seeing him at Wrigley. It was I don't know. It was like a sideshow, really.
Crazy. I think it was actually his rookie card. This was probably pretty valuable back in 91.
Yeah. I remember I have a good mom memory at Wrigley Field. So it's in Sammy's later career. And he runs out onto the field and she's like, Sammy's fat. She says it really loud. I'm like, Mom, like. Inner voice.
All right. So I like long walks in the beach. I'm a deep thinker.
Wait, who was that?
Shane Mack for the Twins.
Man.
Poor guy.
It looks like the cover of a hip hop album.
I mean, do you think, people send in cards to the players and they go, right, you sign the card. Do you think people send these cards to them? Can you sign that for me? When you get that card, you go, what the fuck, man? Come
You need
on.
to send Edgar Martinez his.
I will. I got a connection to Edgar. I got a very tenuous connection to Edgar, but you know what? I'll see if I can use that one to see if he'll sign it.
Cheer up, buddy.
All right. With the last card. This one's rubbish. It's a checklist card, but it's Tony La Russa.
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
He's very
Nick Watson has commented on the Sammy Sosa card and just said his hair is juicing. He doesn't look. Stephen Loudon says he doesn't look like that anymore. I mean, that's true. He's gone through.
He was in a documentary recently. Did you guys see that?
Which one?
Where I don't know how recent it was, but it was about him and Mark McGwire in that whole race. But you're seeing Sammy Sosa now. And it was very strange.
Yes,
like, he's in this very flamboyant suit and he's like alabaster.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know what happened to poor Sammy.
Clearly
the roids did not work out.
Was it like a pigmentation issue, or was it a skin pigment issue, or something like that he had, or something like that?
Something like that. I don't know.
Really knows. Yeah. There's not an answer.
Like he died for a few years and resurrected the body, and it was just kind of.
I don't know. It's strange. Yeah. It's kind of a Michael Jackson thing, I guess.
So before we finish up, guys, I have found this.
It's your wrestling song.
Wait for it.
Well, the boss called me up and said, come in to work. I just hung up on that slave driving jerk. I'm going to wrestling. Going to wrestling. Well, you'd think I'd rather be sweating on a dock or watching somebody use a hammer lock. I'm going to wrestling.
I'm going to wrestling.
R-A-S-S-L-I-N, that's wrestling. R-A-S-S-L-I-N, that's wrestling.
Sing it with them, guys.
You gotta wrestling that for our theme song.
Man, that is
Thank you so very much for joining us tonight, Sergio. It's been a blast.
yeah, man.
We'll get a chance to chat with you again and we can put some more cards together. All right.
Yeah, we'll do it. Thank you, guys.
Hey man, Sergio, it's been awesome. We'll chat up after the words, and I'm gonna definitely send you some scorecard or some of the studio cards so you can open those things.
I love that the backs have their hobbies and interests. That's great.
They're pretty funny. Like I said, I mean, I guess if you're a 22-year-old man, your hobby's gonna be like golf and like watching ESPN. No one. So, all right, man. Have a good one. All the best of luck on the podcast. If you need help, give us a shout. Like John's the master at all that stuff there. I'm just the person with the contacts. So,
and I appreciate that. Yeah. So, I'm excited. But yeah, I need to figure out what I'm doing.
Thanks so much, man. And good night to everyone who's joined us.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
All right,
and good
see
night.
you later, Sergio.
Night.